This week, I'm going to lead you through a Yin Yoga practice that you can do in your bed. We're going to do all poses lying down, focusing on relaxation. So this could be a nice practice for you to do before going to sleep in your bed. Let's get started. Before we start the practice, we have a small props preparation. I would suggest that for this practice, you have a yoga strap, a belt, some kind of a towel that you can use around your foot. And if you have a yoga belt, a yoga strap that has these metal clips, then I would suggest that at this point, we make that into a loop. So we loop the strap, and this way we can put the belt, the strap around the head and the foot at the same time. You don't have to hold it in your hands. And then another prop would be either a bolster or some kind of a pillow, some kind of a cushion, maybe a blanket, anything you can find in your bed. And that's that. If you need, you can pause the video for prepping your props, but if not, just come lie down on your back and have your prop somewhere nearby, next to you on the bed. Or if you do this practice on the mat, then just have them somewhere next to your mat. And take a moment to make yourself comfortable. Maybe you extend your legs, maybe you keep the knees bent. At this point, if you have your pillows there, you can also bring pillows, a bolster under the legs. Just take a moment, a few breaths to arrive onto the mat, arrive into your practice. You could bring hands onto your belly and let yourself check in with your breath. Notice if you're holding tension around the shoulders, in the neck. And as you exhale, let yourself release that tension. Give yourself a few more breaths. You might do this practice eyes closed. Or otherwise, just let yourself turn awareness inwards. And for the duration of the practice, let yourself observe how you feel on the inside. Whether it's physically or mentally observing yourself. And let yourself relax. And then with your next few breaths, or when you feel ready to slowly slide into the next pose, if you have some pillows, bolsters there, bring one pillow or a bolster on your left hand side. Just so that it's there in case you want to use it. We're going to go into a half butterfly banana pose. So lying down on your back, open your left hip, bending the left knee, finding a butterfly shape in that left leg. I'm using a bolster under the leg, but you can also do this without any props. Just opening that left leg into a butterfly shape. Then we're going to slide arms overhead and take a gentle hold of the right wrist with the left hand. We're going to slide the right foot, the right leg, towards the left side of the mat into a banana shape. And that might be enough. You can either stay here, or if you want to add a side bend in your spine, you can slowly slide or even very gently pull your arms, your shoulders, your upper back to the left side of the mat as well. So your left leg is in that butterfly shape, and your right leg, your upper body, in a banana shape. We're looking for a gentle opening along the right side body. If having arms overhead starts to be uncomfortable in the shoulders, you could release one or both arms down. Focus on sending your breaths down and up along that right side of your body. You might turn head to one side or the other. And just continue to observe your breath. As we stay longer, the shape of the pose might change. If you are using props under the left leg, you might at some point decide you want to move those props aside. Or maybe the other way around. If you start to feel the pose is sinking too deep, maybe into that left hip or thigh, you might decide to bring a prop under that left leg. I'm suggesting we spend another 5 to 10 breaths in this butterfly banana pose. If you notice that you're holding tension anywhere in your body, allow a few exhalations to consciously soften, release that tension. So sending a message with your breath to the rest of the body that it's okay to relax. It's okay to release tension here. With your next few breaths, or when you feel you'd be ready to start releasing the side bend, we're going to slowly curl onto the left side of the mat, left side of the body, slowly bending that right leg, maybe bringing legs together and rolling all the way down onto the left side. We're going to next move into a reclining twist. Here, if you want, you could use a bolster under or between the legs or on top of the legs. And then we're going to open the chest up towards the ceiling. Now you could open your right arm out to the right side of the mat. You could open left arm out to the left side of the mat. Or there might be a different place for your arms. Maybe hands are closer to your belly. Maybe you still want to adjust where the legs are. Again, head might turn to one side or the other. Finding a gentle twist. Allowing yourself to stay away from pain. If you notice that you're hurting in your body, then just let yourself adjust. You're not stuck in any of these poses. You can always make changes and then find your way back to stillness. Back to observing the breath. We could spend another 5 to 10 breaths in this twist. How do you feel in your shoulders? How do you feel along your back? How do you feel around the hips? And then either after your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you feel you'd be ready, you would like to release this pose, this twist, just slowly start to slide back onto your back. You can move your props aside. And either just take a few breaths lying down, or if you want to move, you might swing your knees from side to side. You might rock your head from side to side. And then we're going to prepare for the next pose. And for this pose, we're going to use the belt, the strap, or if you have a towel, you might use a towel as well. I'm just going to move my bolster to the other side. And then we're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest, towards the belly. And we're going to bring our strap, our belt or towel around the right foot and then lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. So we are looking for some opening at the back of that right leg. Now you might hold your prop, your strap in your hands, or if you had a strap that you made into a loop, this is where you could now bring that loop, the other end of the loop, behind your head, so that this would relieve your hands, your arms. You don't need to hold anything in your arms. You can, of course, modify the length, the size of that loop. So if you have a strap that you can tighten, then this would be a moment where you could either pull the strap tighter or make it looser. It's very okay if your head is not touching the floor. That's a very, very okay and normal part of this pose. It might even give you a nice stretch in the neck. Left leg could be bent, or you might straighten that left leg. And if you feel that your head sinks down onto the mat, but you would like it to stay off the floor, you could bring your pillow or bolster under the head. So many options for this pose. This is a half caterpillar pose. Make sure there's no pain in your neck. Make sure you don't have your strap behind your neck, so keep it behind the head if that's what you're using. And if you are holding the strap with your hands, that's very okay. Just try to soften your shoulders, your hands, your arms as much as possible. And then notice your breath. With each in-breath, let your breath flow all the way down to your belly. all the way down to your lower back. With each out breath, allow your belly, your back, your hips to soften. We have another minute or so in this pose. You might adjust how you use your props. Maybe you feel that you go deeper into the pose, or maybe you need to take a step back. Find a slightly more gentle shape in your pose. You can come out of the pose earlier, so if you start to feel it's been long enough, you know your body best, you can always come out earlier. Then either after your 5 to 10 breaths, or when you feel you're ready, we'll slowly start to come out of this pose. If you have a strap behind the head, just release that strap first. Bend your right knee and we'll put the strap next to the mat. We're going to go into the banana butterfly and the twist before we do that pose to the other side. You can do anything, everything you feel that you need to do. Maybe it's movement, maybe it's just resting. And if you know that you will need, or you might want to use a pillow or a bolster for the next banana butterfly, then bring your prop next to your body, next to your mat, on the bed, on the right hand side. And then we're going to extend the left leg and open the right hip. So bring right leg now into that half butterfly shape. It might be different on this side. We'll bring arms overhead and you could take hold of your left wrist with the right hand to begin with. Then we'll slide the left leg, the left foot towards the right side of the mat. And if you want to add upper body, you could gently pull, slide, move your arms, shoulders, your upper back to the right side of the mat as well. At that point, release any pulling. You could relax your hands. And notice if you want to keep your both arms overhead. Again, you might decide you bring one arm down or both arms down. If you have a bolster under your leg, remember you might adjust how you prop the pose as we stay longer in this shape. So you might either remove the bolster or you might adjust the bolster at any point. You're never stuck in that initial shape. You can always make small changes, or you might decide that you want to come out of the pose earlier. Now we could spend another 5 to 10 breaths in this side bend if you want. And then slowly, slowly, with your next few breaths, or when you feel ready to do so, we'll start to travel towards the twist. So we're going to roll down, curl down onto the right side. You could bend both knees. And again, you might use props, maybe under legs, between the legs, maybe on top of the legs, especially if you have something heavier you want to place on top of the legs. And then slowly open the chest, finding that reclining twist. You might open your left arm out to the left side. Maybe you open the right arm. And it might be that you still need to adjust the legs or props at this point. You're very welcome to take some time to find your shape. And just notice how it feels to be here. Notice how it feels to breathe. Inviting yourself to relax. There's nothing else to do right now. So just let yourself slowly sink into the pose, breath by breath. We could spend another 5 to 10 breaths in this twist. And towards the end of those 5 to 10 breaths, maybe take 1 or 2 slightly deeper breaths in and out. And slowly, slowly start to slide out of the twist, finding your way back onto your back. You could move your legs. You could rock the pelvis. And then we're going to find our strap, our belt again. And we're going to go into that half caterpillar pose on the other side. So now bring your left knee in towards the chest so that you could bring your belt, towel, strap, whatever you're using, around the left foot. And we'll lift the left foot, the left leg up into the air. Your right leg could be bent, or you can extend your right leg. And then if you have a loop strap, if your belt is in a loop, you could bring it behind the head, bring the other end under the head. And take a moment to adjust the pose. Again, it might be that your head is kind of floating off the mat. And you might need to adjust the length of the strap. It might also be that your head is leaning onto the mat, onto the floor. Either way is absolutely fine. Where do you feel you want to be on this side. Maybe the second side is different. And again, you might use a pillow under the head, under the neck. Remember, that is an option. And let the pose be rather gentle, or at least from the more gentle edge of the spectrum. So we're not pushing, we're not pulling too much. Making sure you're not hurting in the hip joint or in the knee joint. And then just breathing into the pose. Breathing into your body in that pose. We could spend another 5 to 10 breaths here. You can also come out of the pose earlier. And it might be that sometimes the right and the left side of the body feel very different. And it might be that we need to stay in the pose for different lengths of time on one side than the other. That's absolutely fine. Listen and respect what your body needs today. Be kind to yourself. And then slowly, when you feel ready, you can start to release that half caterpillar pose, taking the strap away from behind the head, bending the left knee, taking the strap, the towel away and putting it aside. We don't need it anymore. Now we have one more pose, the supported bridge pose. But if today you feel that you want to skip that bridge pose and maybe just find a longer Shavasana pose, that is an option. If you'd like to go for the bridge, then reach for your pillows, your bolsters, and bend the knees so that you can press your feet onto the bed, elevate your pelvis into the air for a moment, and then slide your prop under your pelvis. Today I'm using a bolster, and I'm going to place the bolster lengthwise under the lower back and the pelvis. You could also have it sideways under the pelvis. You might have several pillows, cushions that you bring under the pelvis. Anything that would slightly prop the pelvis off the bed. And then you decide if you want to have your legs bent. Maybe find a full butterfly pose. We've practiced that half butterfly. Now here you have an option to do a full butterfly pose. Or you might extend your both legs, still keeping heels, feet on the bed. Arms could be down next to the sides, or you might bring both arms overhead or out to the sides like a T shape. Wherever you are, find your shape and find your breath. If it feels safe for your back, for your hips, you could send a few breaths all the way down to the lower belly. And just notice how those breaths, those deeper breaths feel in this pose. We still have a couple of minutes in this bridge, if this is where you want to spend those couple of minutes. Remember, if you start to feel any achiness or pain in your joints, then feel free to adjust the shape. Maybe it's adjusting where the legs are, where the arms are. And then finding stillness again. And you could give yourself a few more breaths in and out if you are in that bridge pose. And then either after those breaths or when you feel ready, just slowly find your feet back on the mat. If you have arms overhead, you could slide your arms down and make your pelvis just a bit lighter so that you could move your bolsters, pillows, any props aside and release your back, your pelvis onto the bed. From here, we're going to slide into Shavasana pose. You might lie down on your back, you might lie down on your belly, or lean onto one side. You can let yourself find a pose, a shape, where you think you could fall asleep. I'm going to guide you through the beginning of this Shavasana pose, and then I will leave you to rest. When you have found your resting pose, breathe in and breathe out, softening your shoulders, softening your neck. Allow your arms to relax. Allow your hands to relax. Breathe in and breathe out. Allow your back to soften. Allow your belly to soften. Allow your hips to soften. And let the heavy pelvis sink down towards the bed. Breathe in and breathe out. Allow your legs, your feet to soften. Notice that softness, heaviness spreading throughout your whole body. Notice your in-breaths Notice your out breaths. And just let yourself relax. Allow yourself to rest here.